Hey everybody. Recently got a message through Instagram where a brother was asking for some advice as he is getting ready to go into full-time vocational ministry. And so I thought I would take just a couple of minutes to give you guys the same general advice that I give to everyone, that Jimmy gives to everyone. Number one, if you're thinking about or planning to go into vocational ministry, make sure that you understand and have clarified your calling. Right, we believe that people are actually called by God to the work of ministry. Not that it has to be some lightning bolt experience at a particular point in their life, but that they have a clear sense that God has set them apart for this particular work. Now, how do you know if you're called? And the simplest way to think about it is to say that one, you do have a burden, a desire, an unquenchable thirst for that work. Now, the desire to do it may not be there right away. That may come a little bit farther down the line of your experience, but it will be there. So you want to make sure that that's there. If you're called, you have this desire to do it. Secondly, with calling, you will bear fruit when you do the work. That's how you know you're called, is that when you engage in the work that ministry will have you do, you're actually good at it. So we're talking about some level of competency. And then third, the local church will affirm you in that calling. They will say, you should be doing this very thing, and we want to send you or support you as you go and do it. So, number one, make sure that your calling is really sure, really solid. And with that, I would say, with calling, I would say make sure if you're married that your spouse is on board. You want to make sure that you are not doing something that your wife is not excited about, not supportive of, and not involved in. So, calling is number one. Number two, if you are going to go into vocational ministry, I would say it's important to be trained and educated. So this can happen in a number of ways, but the first thing that I encourage everybody to do, if possible at all, is to get a seminary education. And when we're talking about seminary education, the first and best option is to be on campus, on site, in class with professors and students. So if that's at all possible, spend the 3 years and get it done in 3 years, like cram it in there. Put the time in for the seminary education. More than likely, you're going to have a greater theological investment in you than you'll get from the local church. Maybe not, it depends on where you go. But also, in addition to that, you'll have church history, you'll have the biblical languages and things like that. So get educated, seminary if possible. If you can't be on site, then do online training. Online education is good as another option. But it doesn't have to be seminary. You can be trained for the ministry in the local church. And so whether you go to seminary or not, you definitely need to be trained in the local church as it relates to ministry. A lot of the things that you'll learn in seminary are good and necessary, but it won't be everything that you need for pastoral ministry. So you're going to want to be connected to a local church. And that brings me to number three. If you're going to go into vocational ministry, you want to do some sort of residency or internship. You want to work in a church that is going to give you hands-on practical experience and ongoing coaching through that process. So make sure that you're getting that done at a local church level, particularly in the kind of church that will share your philosophy of ministry, that will be a model for you to follow and emulate, even though there will probably be some differences wherever you land in pursuing ministry. That brings me to the next point, which is clearly develop your philosophy of ministry. You should have a pretty clear understanding of what your ministry will look like on the principle level, at least. On the principle level, what are the priorities? What are the goals and the standards that you expect to be realized in the things that you'll be doing as a pastor or a church planter? So those are some of the basic things that come to my mind when people ask me, well, what should I be thinking about? Clarify your calling. Make sure that you're really clear there. Get educated, be trained, do a residency, develop your philosophy of ministry, and throughout your ministry, once you get going, make sure that you continue to work on yourself, work on your theology, work on your preaching, work on your counseling. Don't just work on where you're weak, do that, but also work on the things that you think you're good at. Work on your strengths as well. Well, we'd love to hear what you think. If you have advice for those that are going into ministry, you can respond in the comments and give your advice as well.